Thank you for joining us on the Friday edition of Journalist Hangout, reaching you from our new studios here at Eko Atlantic City, Victoria Island, Lagos. I'm Benga Oreshegun. Today on the program, tension as Natasha tackles Senate President over seat relocation. Controversy reigns over impending Osun local government election. And later on the show, in our Journalist Hangout Weekend Special, we focus on improved security in Biringwari, Kaduna State. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Dotun Oladipo. Journalist Hangout starts right now. Now let's begin the conversation. Senate sessions are meant to be orderly, but when they erupt into open confrontation, they reveal the underlying tensions shaping legislative authority. Senator Natasha found herself at the center of such a clash when she confronted Senate President Godswill Akpabio over the reassignment of her seat. The Senate Chief Whip, Senator Tahir Mungunu, cited the Senate standing rules to justify the reallocation, attributing it to recent defections among opposition members. Despite attempts to enforce the new seating arrangement, Akpabio refused to comply, leading to a tense standoff that nearly disrupted proceedings. Now let's share this story with you.
It all started before the plenary when the Kogi Central lawmaker Natasha was notified of a new seating arrangement. The lawmaker was not impressed with this new development and she voiced out her dissatisfaction, verbally attacking the chairman of Senate Services, Karimi Sunday, for changing her seat. When plenary began, the Chief Whip of the Senate, Tahir Mungunu, while citing Order 6, Rule 2 of the Senate Standing Rules, pointed out the powers of the Senate President to reallocate seats to any lawmaker at his discretion. He further explained that Senator Natasha's refusal to relocate to a new seat assigned to her would leave the President of the Senate no other option than to exercise powers not to allow her contribute on any matter on the floor if she refuses to comply with a new seat redesignation.
Now that Senator Natasha insisted on staying on her former seat in spite of the rearrangement of the seat, I am craving for her indulgence to resume the seat that has been lawfully allocated to her.
Her attempt to move a motion citing a breach of her privileges was turned down by the President of the Senate, instructing her to relocate to her new seat in order to be recognized. But Senator Natasha, still speaking, challenged the authority of the President of the Senate, insisting that her voice will not be silenced even if not recognized. The chamber soon turned rowdy, forcing the President of the Senate to order the Sergeant-at-Arms to take her out of the chamber, but other lawmakers pleaded to the President of the Senate on her behalf.
Sir, Order 10 on privileges. Any senator may rise at any time to speak upon a matter of privilege suddenly arising.
Despite much persuasion from other lawmakers in the chamber, Senator Natasha still remained on her seat, refusing to move to her newly allocated seat. In a later development, the Kogi caucus in the Senate appealed to the President of the Senate to pardon the lawmaker for acting out of order.
I want to sincerely apologize on behalf of the Kogi caucus to the Senate President and the entire Senate that this will not repeat itself again.
What you have done, you have the power to do it. You did it at the best interest of the Senate. So I will want her to at least come out and apologize to us.
I just want to appeal to you. The matter will be dealt with at the appropriate time.
The President of the Senate appealed to his colleagues to not feel offended by the actions of the Kogi Central lawmaker, although unwarranted, but to continue with the business for which they were elected. TVC News, Abuja.
All right, BKO, the drama that played out yesterday. But the question is, was Natasha Akpabio out of line, or did the Senate President overreact, in your opinion?
If the the law permits the president of the Senate to assign seats.
Okay.
So, and in the exercise of the powers given to him, if he decided to reassign you a new seat, I don't think that anyone can say he has done something out of the ordinary. From time to time, seats are reassigned to people, and people who are in majority, lawmakers who are in majority, will not, for example, agree to sit in minority.
Okay.
You know, as we approach another election year, defections will happen, and when defections happen, people would have to move from where they used to sit to somewhere else. It's a natural thing. But you know, from listening to what Senator Natasha was saying on Brekete, the Human Rights Radio, you would know that she had been bottling up her emotions for some time, and she kept saying, look, I've stomached a lot, I've been denied so many things, and I kept reading. She said a lot of my privileges have been taken away. I just want to be given the chance to work. I have been pulled out of many international activities that I have been part of since the whole nightclub incident that happened last year. There was even a United Nations event that I was supposed to attend, which I was nominated for, but my name was struck out. That they will not promote me in any event internationally. Every event I've been going to since last year had been self-sponsored. I've been going through a lot. Yesterday, I didn't speak out of order. He was reading my suspension, and I had to invoke Order 10, which is an order of privilege. So it's clear that this has nothing to do with reallocation of seats. Reallocation of seats happen from time to time. If you defect to the ruling party, you can't sit where you used to sit, because people sit in majority and then on the wing of minority. So once people defect, you see them crossing. That's what is called cross-carpeting. They cross to the side of the majority. So these things happen. But as I said, people will see how a lot of the huffing and puffing that happened, there were underlying issues that prompted that kind of behavior. But I don't think that Natasha can justifiably prove to us that it was right to behave that way. No. You can still protest without going to that extent. She's somebody that I like so much. We relate. She calls me from time to time. She needs, and if she were to call me now, I would say, no, you went too far. People protest, even on the floor. If they do, they are not recognized. But to go to that length, to go that far, no. It's a no for me.
Okay, Doctor. Was she treated unfairly, or do you agree with what BK has just said?
I think what she said this morning is a pointer to why she behaved that way. In fact, yesterday when I called the man who reports for me from the Senate, he said they had been expecting that to happen a long time ago. That the reallocation of seats was only an opportunity, a trigger. And there was this tending towards the fact that she was removed from a juicy Senate committee to what many consider to be a
not so juicy committee.
Not so juicy,
if you say so.
Wow.
Because she was moved from being the chairman of the Senate Committee on Local Content, which has, as they said, a lot of oil companies, oil and gas, you know, and then to diaspora and NGOs. And a lot of us know what the budget of the diaspora, which is likely the Nigerian Diaspora Commission, or is always every year. So if that is true, then it's a shame, because what she's claiming is that she was sent there to work. So whatever work you are
Whatever
given,
committee you are given, you should
do
take
it.
it.
You should take it.
Is it not all about service?
It's all about service. Even
Is it always about service?
It should be all about service. That's what
This
we are
one
saying.
should be
It should
about.
be. You recollect when Bukola Saraki was Senate president. This also happened to the incumbent. He was moved from a particular seat as a senator to another one, because even in that at that
But
time,
he was not asked to be
even
walked
at that
out.
time.
Yes, that time.
At that time,
Yes.
what happened to him was the speaker, the microphone where he was to be seated was bad.
Exactly.
So he was moved to another one. And that always shows when this
All right.
overseer
Okay.
is speaking, but he didn't know. And then he wanted to speak. And Saraki said, no, you can't speak because that's not where you are supposed to be. They had this back and forth, but immediately he apologized. I wish we had that video. Immediately.
Okay, the incumbent, actually, he
The incumbent
apologized there.
immediately to say,
All right.
see,
When he realized.
Okay, I guess that's the difference.
That's
I
the
guess that's the
difference.
difference.
No, the length of time that she kept reading it was not.
just talking
This is
and
this is not
talking.
the South African Parliament, where you see the people always dressed in red. We can Malema. This is not a Malema kind of Senate or National Assembly. We just have to do things better.
Exactly.
And if they had been treating her fairly,
Yeah.
I guess this is the time to treat her
in a
like
better
one
way.
of them. Yes, she may have made mistakes. I think the Senate president thinks that she overreacts and all that. You know, that jibe, the joke.
Yes.
You know, that joke, they didn't take kindly to it. You see, women are usually sensitive about certain things. You know, even some jokes in this era of women emancipation and all that. Some jokes, if you try them,
Can
they
be a
will get
little
angry
too-
that
yeah,
people will
exactly,
say, no, what's
too
going
touchy.
on, this and that. So the Senate president cracked the joke that last time.
About the nightclub.
Yes, and he apologized.
Yeah,
he
he did.
apologized. Too. But I think from what she said today, since that period, the way she reacted has pushed them to begin to marginalize her by way of trips that she's supposed to go to and all that. But again, let's just leave
All
this
right,
matter.
then. Exactly. All right, let's move straight to our next conversation. Tensions